Have you ever been in an organization where the grand strategy feels like it's just sealed away, in a fancy binder, totally disconnected from what everyone's actually doing day to day?
Oh, absolutely. We've all seen that, right?
Yeah.
The beautiful strategy deck that just, well, ends up gathering dust.
Exactly. So how do you really make sure everyone from let's say, the top floor right down to the shop floor is pulling in the exact same direction?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. So today we're taking a deep dive into a really powerful framework designed specifically to bridge that gap, the balanced scorecard.
Right, the BSC.
Yeah, the BSC. And our source for this is an insightful document, Your Gateway to Operational Excellence by Vishnu Rayapeddi. It was published back in 2009, but still incredibly relevant.
Very much so.
So our mission today is to really unearth the core of the balanced scorecard, what it truly is, the reasons why it works so effectively, and crucially, how organizations actually use it to hit their strategic goals.
Think of this as your shortcut, really, to understanding how strategy moves from that binder to, well, actual action.
Okay, let's get into it. What's fascinating here is just how fundamental this challenge is for so many organizations.
It is.
Yeah.
And the balanced scorecard steps in to provide this remarkably comprehensive answer. It shifts the focus, from just reporting to actively managing strategy.
So let's peel back those layers. Start with the core definition. What exactly is the balanced scorecard at the BSC in its essence?
Well, at its core, it's a tool that translates an organization's mission and strategy into a comprehensive set of performance measures.
Okay.
It basically forms a framework, right, for strategic measurement and management. Its key function is providing a clear way to communicate the strategy in operating terms, using measurements and targets that everyone can actually understand and, act upon.
So it's taking those big, sometimes kind of abstract strategic visions and making them tangible, measurable realities for everyone. That transformation alone sounds incredibly powerful. The source even highlights this, saying, when people are asked about strategy, they reach for their balanced scorecard. Why is that specific, tangible reference so critical? What often goes wrong when it's missing?
That's a great point. I mean, if people can't articulate the strategy or they can't see how their own work connects to it, then it's just words on a page, isn't it?
Right. Just jargon.
Yeah. The BSC provides that single, coherent story. And if we think about the bigger picture, the why do it part, it's really all about achieving true balance.
Ah, balance. That sounds...
It is. It uniquely integrates short and long-term objectives, financial and non-financial measures, external and internal measures, viewing them all holistically, across different perspectives.
Okay, that concept of balance really sounds like a critical differentiator. What are its main purposes then? And what does it prevent?
Well, the scorecard is designed to, first, clarify and translate the vision and strategy. Second, communicate and link strategic objectives and measures.
Makes sense.
Third, to help plan, set targets, and align strategic initiatives. And fourth, really importantly, enhance strategic feedback and learning.
Okay.
And what's often missed, I think, is that this isn't just about adding more metrics. It actually imposes a discipline where you capture cause and effect relationships meticulously.
Cause and effect? How so?
Without that discipline, you risk creating what the source calls pockets of underperformance, because activities aren't truly linked to the strategic whole, you see.
Ah, okay. Got it.
It forces a laser focus on strategic measurement, not just, the tactical or operational stuff we often get bogged down in.
So it's much more sophisticated than just tracking sales numbers or project completion times.
Oh, definitely.
It's about ensuring every action points towards that bigger strategic North Star.
Exactly. The BSC represents a pretty significant evolution in corporate performance measurement. It moves beyond traditional accounting or even activity-based costing.
Which are already quite complex.
Right. It moves towards something called value-linked measurements. This means every metric isn't just a number. It's explicitly tied to how it creates strategic value for customers, shareholders, even internal capabilities.
And value linked.
Yeah, it forces you to ask, how does this particular measurement directly drive our overarching strategy? It's a much richer, more forward-looking view of performance.
That evolution towards value-linked measurements really sets the stage for how the BSC helps you see your business differently. And before you even get to building out those strategic maps we'll talk about,
Right.
the source is clear. You need to define these 4 essential perspectives. Think of them as the foundational lenses, right, through which your whole strategy is viewed.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The first, and often, the ultimate goal, is the financial perspective.
Okay.
This captures the financial outcomes, things like profitability, revenue growth, shareholder value. It's basically the "are we making money"
Makes
lens.
sense. The bottom line.
Then, directly enabling those financial results, you've got the customer perspective.
Yeah.
This explores what satisfies your customers, what drives loyalty factors like service quality, brand image, maybe competitive pricing, product quality. This is where you answer, how do our customers see us?
Right. What do they value?
Exactly. Next, we dive into the internal processes. These are the core activities, the efficiencies within your organization that actually add value for those customers and, in turn, drive those financial results.
So the how we do things part.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Everything from product development and production to delivery and customer service, it asks. What must we excel at internally?
And finally, the foundation.
Yes, the foundation. Learning and growth. This perspective focuses on the intangible assets that enable all those internal processes to happen effectively.
Intangibles
Like your people skills, your organizational culture, your tech capabilities, your ability to innovate. It's the engine room, really, asking, how do we sustain our ability to change and improve?
wow. Okay. So those 4 perspectives give you this holistic, interconnected view.
That's the power of it. An organization isn't just focused on financial results in isolation. It's also looking at the underlying drivers of that success. It ensures you don't accidentally, say, starve the processes or the people that fuel your long-term growth.
Right. You avoid short-term gains that kill you later. Okay, so once you understand these perspectives, how do you actually implement something this comprehensive? The source details a 9-step journey. And a crucial note up front, it requires a significant culture change.
Oh, definitely. That's often the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, it's not just a new tool or report. It's a whole new way of thinking and operating, that cultural shift. Wow.
It's huge. So the first step in the journey is organizational assessment.
Okay, step 1.
This is where you objectively rate your organization against a balanced set of metrics, basically taking a candid look in the mirror. The Baldrige Award criteria, for example.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it assesses organizational excellence. It suggests looking at roughly equal data points across areas like customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, financial performance, operational performance, and so on. It's about establishing a baseline across all critical areas.
That makes perfect sense. Got to know where you stand before you can plan the climb, right?
Exactly. Step 2 is to define strategies. This means firmly linking the BSC process into the organization's broader strategic planning, connecting it directly to the mission and vision.
So it's not separate.
Not at all. And this is key. The BSC doesn't exist in a vacuum. It actually integrates with and can enhance many other established management tools you might already be using.
Like what?
Like activity-based costing, which digs into the true costs of processes, or Six Sigma, focused on efficiency and quality. The BSC acts as the strategic overlay that brings all these powerful tools together under one coherent vision. It prevents them from becoming, isolated initiatives pulling in different directions.
Okay, so it connects the dots. Moving on to step 3, strategic objectives. This sounds like where you start building the actual strategic hierarchy.
That's right. You begin with your overarching strategic plan, then you focus on your customers, define the processes to serve them, and finally, build the organizational capabilities to make it all happen. It's a logical flow.
And within this step,
You first establish your strategic goals. Think of these as your initial anchors. Very short, broad statements, directly tied to the mission, covering a long time period like improved customer service. They set the general direction in concrete terms.
broad goals. Got it.
Then you define strategic objectives.
Yeah.
These are more specific, more actionable steps needed to reach those broader goals, usually covering a shorter time frame, maybe 6 months to a year.
Okay.
An example from the source is, we will expand call center services to include technical support. These are critical for future success because they pinpoint exactly what needs to be done.
More specific actions. And these objectives then lead to themes.
Yes, exactly. From these objectives, usually 3 to 5 overarching strategic themes should emerge. Themes like operating efficiencies, customer relations, maybe product innovation. These themes form the basis for your strategic maps.
Okay.
And the underlying principles here are crucial. Translate those big strategies into operating terms, link them throughout the organization, get everyone committed, and make strategizing a continuous process, learning and adjusting as you go.
And that brings us neatly to step 4, the strategic map. You said this is the absolute foundation of the balanced scorecard.
It really is. It's a visual representation of your strategy. It shows how processes and systems are interconnected, and importantly, how every employee's job links to the overall objectives. You'll actually need one map for each strategic theme you identified.
One map per theme. Okay.
And on these maps, strategic objectives are meticulously plotted across those 4 perspectives we discussed: financial, customer, internal processes, learning, and growth. Crucially, they're linked with arrows to capture a clear cause and effect relationship. You typically start with the ultimate financial outcomes at the top and work your way down, showing what enables or drives those outcomes. It paints a clear picture of how value is actually created.
And this step requires critical approval from the top, right?
Yeah.
The source emphasizes that.
Absolutely vital. The source says something like, if management disagrees with the map, go back and redo the maps.
Wow.
We need to get this step right since it represents the foundation. It tells you how vital it is. It's literally their strategic blueprint. Everyone needs to buy into that specific map.
No kidding. Okay, which leads us directly into step 5, performance measures. This sounds like where the rubber meets the road.
It is. For each strategic objective on your map, you need at least one measurement. This provides the feedback loop on your progress, showing whether you're actually moving the needle on that objective.
And these are what we often hear called key performance indicators, KPIs.
That's the common term, yes, KPIs. They're used to set targets, measure progress, spot trends, identify problems early, and give you visual feedback. They're the teeth of your strategy, giving it real bite and driving change.
So, good measures. What makes a good measure in this context?
Well, they need to be repeatable, quantifiable, and verifiable, obviously. But crucially, they should also define your objectives in specific terms, telling you what that objective truly means in practice.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Think of customer satisfaction measures like average response time or customer survey scores, or maybe process efficiency measures like cycle time or machine downtime.
Okay. And what's this about lead and lag measures? That sounds important.
It's a crucial distinction. Leading measures are forward-looking drivers. They kind of predict future outcomes. They tell you what might happen. For example, employee training hours could be a leading indicator for future customer service scores. Okay.
Predictive.
Exactly. Lagging measures, on the other hand, are usually final outcomes that look backward. Things like overall customer satisfaction scores or return on investment, ROI, they tell you what did happen.
So you need both.
Absolutely. A good balanced scorecard includes both lead and lag measures. It gives you a full picture predictive and retrospective. And of course, your KPI should always be SMART.
SMART. Specific, measurable.
Achievable, realistic, and time-bound. That framework helps ensure they're well-defined.
Right. But the real trick, as the source implies, isn't just writing SMART objectives, it's making sure they actually drive the right behaviors, right? Avoiding that trap of what gets measured gets done, even if it's the wrong thing.
That's a constant challenge. You have to choose measures carefully.
The source then dives into 6 categories of measurements that world-class companies track. Maybe we can hit the highlights.
Sure. First, financial performance. Companies aren't just looking at past profits. They use key stats covering past, present, and future, tightly linked to strategic success factors. They might use overall measures like economic value added, EVA, or ROI, to push profitable growth, constantly evaluating and improving these metrics to predict success. It's about understanding the drivers of financial health, not just the end result.
Okay, beyond just profit, what about customer satisfaction?
Oh, it's far beyond a simple annual survey. It's about deeply segmenting customers, developing specific surveys for each group, maybe running focus groups for richer feedback, and collecting hard data like repeat business rates or customer churn. They often summarize individual indices into an overall customer satisfaction index, or CSI, and rigorously compare it against key competitors. It's a strategic obsession for many top companies.
Wow, that's detailed. And operational performance.
Another critical one. Here we're measuring the efficiency and effectiveness of key internal processes. Think cycle times, rework rates, productivity measures. It's about optimizing what the organization does best. And crucially, correlating these process measures directly with the product or service characteristics customers value. Identifying bottlenecks before they impact the customer.
Makes sense. And there are others like product service quality, supplier performance, employee satisfaction, all needing similar rigorous measurement.
Exactly. Each one needs careful thought about what truly drives success in that area, how to measure it effectively, using both hard data and perhaps surveys or indices, and often comparing performance externally.
Okay, so once you have all these measurements figured out, step 5 concludes with setting targets.
Right. For each measurement, you set a specific target. This pushes the organization towards a required performance level. This is where the strategy really gets specific, transforming those aspirations into concrete numbers.
Like the examples in the source. Recruiting new employees in under 40 days, or hitting 85% rental facility utilization, or maybe 10% revenue growth.
Precisely. Those targets make the strategy tangible and accountable.
Which logically leads to step 6, initiatives.
Yes. This is where you launch the major projects or programs needed to actually meet those strategic objectives and targets you just set.
So if the objective is better customer service,
You might launch, say, a new CRM system implementation. That's the initiative. These aren't just random projects. They should be strategically funded, championed by senior management, and have clear owners, deliverables, and deadlines. But, as the source notes, securing adequate support and funding for these big initiatives can be a significant hurdle sometimes.
I can imagine. Okay, step 7 is automation. This seems straightforward, but maybe overlooked.
It often is. The source just reminds us that while the BSC provides the what and why, getting the right technology in place for data capture, analysis, and reporting is crucial. It's the engine that powers that continuous feedback loop, making sure information flows smoothly and isn't a huge manual burden.
Right, you need the plumbing to work. Then step 8, which sounds absolutely crucial for execution, cascade the strategy.
Absolutely critical. This means effectively communicating the strategy and the balanced scorecard down to all teams throughout the entire organization, ensuring everyone understands their specific role in achieving those overarching objectives.
Because without that cascade,
Even the best strategy remains trapped at the top. It doesn't translate into action on the front lines.
makes total sense. And finally, step 9, evaluate and change.
The ongoing part. The balanced scorecard isn't a one-time setup. It's a continuous cycle. You review performance against targets, you learn from what's working or not working, and you adapt your strategy, your objectives, maybe even your measures based on that learning.
It's a dynamic system.
Exactly. And the source highlights that implementation takes time. You're looking at a minimum of 3 months just for development and often over a year for full deployment, depending on the organization's size and complexity.
And where's the best place to start?
It suggests the best place to start building a scorecard is usually where all the components of the value chain, customer needs, innovation, production, delivery, are already reasonably well defined. And, while it's powerful, the source is honest about the challenges that can definitely arise during BSC implementation. It's not always smooth sailing.
Good to keep in mind. So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening? The balanced scorecard isn't just about measuring what's already happened, right?
Not at all.
It's really about proactively linking your daily activities to that long-term strategic success, fostering clarity and accountability across the whole organization.
Yeah.
It helps align doing the right things, that's strategy,
Just doing things right, that's operations.
and doing things differently, which is change. It's a truly holistic framework for performance and transformation.
Yeah, and the source defines organizational success quite nicely as the sum of effective, well-executed strategy plus efficient operations plus meaningful change.
That's a powerful equation.
It is. So, given that integrated view, here's a thought to leave you with. What aspect of performance strategy, operations, or change do you think organizations most often neglect when they're trying to achieve their big picture goals? And how might a really balanced approach like the balanced scorecard help them avoid that particular pitfall and truly thrive?